in welcoming Pam Pikkert for table topics this morning.
Hello again. Okay, so our theme today, laughter is the best medicine. So as I was sitting and thinking about laughter, I thought about different aspects of it. So my first question this morning is for Bill. Bill, it seems that nothing is off limits these days, given social media and the extreme diversity of programs that are available for us. Everything seems to be copacetic, but should it be? Are there things, in your opinion, that should be considered off limits? And if we are told something that is distasteful, racially inequitable, what is the best way for us to handle such a joke?
Thank you.
Can we have you come up here, Bill? Thank you.
Candace. Fellow Toastmasters, what is off limits in today's world? I'm not a social media user, but I do see the effects of the amplification of so many opinions, so much information. It's so easy to pull the switch on some topic or another and everybody have input. That's good, that's democracy. On the other hand, the threshold, the perceived anonymity, the challenges, the manipulation that can occur is something for which we are learning how to comprehend, how to understand, how to not to overreact, how to stand back and say, where did this come from? What was the source? And this is, I think, the great learning of our time. Right now, the fakers, shall we say, I believe, are winning. But I think as a society, and I do have faith in our society, I do believe that over the not too distant future, we will learn to overcome, to seek truth, to reestablish the principles of what has made a liberal Western democracy and the world continue to function and in a positive way. Have faith. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. All right, so my next question I'm going to direct to Mr. Alrick. So having been born and raised in Alberta and having been raised on a diet of mainstream Hollywood, I do sometimes wonder if things that I perceive as universally funny are actually so. So are there anything that you have found that Canadians find funny that perhaps when you were growing up would not have been thought so?
Thank you, Pam, for that thought-provoking questions. I've never delved into that aspect of thinking about the differences of culture and beliefs and what's different and what. Yeah, that's a tough one. But Canadian, growing up in Jamaica, everyone aspired to come to North America. We wanted to come for the snow. We wanted to come because we thought that money grows on trees. We wanted the Hollywood lifestyle. So we were impressionable. We will go with the books that are written by Canadians and overall North Americans. So on our impressionable minds, we were just gullible. We didn't criticize, we just consume, just like a diet. We just say, yes, it sounds good, yep, we just consume. We didn't even think for ourselves. Not that we were robotic, but upon arriving in and see, to my dismay, things are not what it seems. Could be better. It's not a better rose, Ziz. I had to say, there's not a whole lot of similarities. We all as human, we want the same thing. We want to be happy. We want to be respected. We want to be involved. We want to be assimilated in the community. We want, we want our kids to grow up in a safe environment. We all need the same thing. We all desire the same thing. The movies may portray a different reality, but Canadian, we are so happy to be living in Canada. When we see the grand scale of things and how the demoralization of the world on a grand scale, we're so happy to be in this side of the world. Like I've been in California, in which it was so demoralizing that I couldn't have no fun. It's to see that someone was sitting in Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, where all the big movies were made, and poverty was there, while inequality was just like, you know, day and night. So to wrap it up, I would say conclusion, there was nothing that I could say.
Thank you. All right. My third question. Laughing at ourselves can be hard to do, but can also be a great sense of relief. So when my kids were growing up, we had all manners of describing a burnt supper because I excelled at burning supper. There was Cajun, there was blackened, and they were also very well versed in how to turn off the smoke detector because that thing goes off all the time. It's very annoying. Austin, are there any ongoing jokes in your family where you were the main source?
Thank you, Pat, for that question. I can firmly say that my dad is the total prankster in our family. You guys might know part of my history. You know, I had an incident where I landed in the hospital for a while. And coming out of that, my dad loved to play pranks on me. And this one kind of really stuck in my head where I had a computer in my room. And I was pretty tech savvy, I'm pretty understanding, but this is right after my accident. So I was out of the hospital, I was kind of still a little loopy, and there's some things I was kind of going on. And I'm playing my game, and I hear, "Can you hear me?" It's like, what? And just this small little whisper of a voice, and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, okay, it might be my game, might be my computer. I have no idea what's going on with this. So I'm playing. 5 minutes later, "Can you hear me?" I was like, what is going on? So I turn off my computer, I restart it, start playing again. 5 minutes later, "Can you hear me?" Wow. So I call my dad, and I'm calling my mom, like, "Okay, you guys gotta stay here. You gotta, can you hear this? Like, am I going crazy? Like, what is going on? I can't figure out what's going on with my computer." Like, I wait a couple minutes, hear it. "Can you hear me?" They're like, we don't hear anything. Like, what is, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this. So I take out my computer, I unplug everything. I take my computer, I pull everything out. I'm like, there's got to be something here. I don't understand this. After I take everything apart, so here, "Can you hear me?" I'm like, I leave my room. I cannot do this. I have no idea what's going on. My parents are in the other room. I walk in, and they're trying to hold back something. I'm like, okay, there's something going on with this. Give it a couple minutes. My dad finally gives in. He comes downstairs, and he shows me this little speaker that he put up right inside my keyboard. That just goes off every 5 minutes. And they just kill themselves laughing. And to this day, I will not live that down. So unfortunately, my dad has made me the recipient of many of jokes, but thank you for that, man.
And how are we on time, Mavis? Do we have time for more? Yes. Yes? Okay. Again, because we have a small group, some of you have been speakers, but I get to use you again. Oh, Graham, there is an amazing human ability that we have to mirror each other. We see it when we start to laugh, when we hear babies laughing, when we start to cry, when we see soldiers coming home, or if someone has a ridiculous laugh that makes us laugh. So in your opinion, why do we do this?
So I believe the question was, why do we mirror each other, right? I think humans are social beings. we feed off of each other. Emotion is transferable. If you are in a room and everybody is happy, generally you will be happy. If you're in a room and everybody's sad, that transfers. You'll be sad as well. And so I think that we all also have a bit of a role to play in kind of managing an atmosphere and in managing people's emotions, especially those that are close to us. If our emotions are transferable and we're always down and in the gutter, that will transfer to the people who are close to us and the people in the room. And so I think it's our responsibility to do what we can to lighten the mood, assist other people's emotions when maybe the mood is inappropriately down or hard, to maybe play the upbeat type person to inspire others and bring other people up. Thank you.
Thank you. One more? Okay. All right. So we have our great grand Toastmaster champion in our room here, and congratulations on all your achievements. Just before I jump into this question, and Claire, this question is for you, because you said you were going to throw your hand up and step into big roles. So, but what would you say are the necessary things to tell a joke to the maximum effect?
You have an opportunity to tell a joke. So how do you get the maximum impact of that joke? I'd ask Jock to do it myself, but to help you, to help us all prepare and being able to lighten up the atmosphere and take the stage in a group of people and tell the joke, I think it's a very desirable skill to have. So how do you do that? Well, you want to work to a punchline. I think with every joke, everything you do has to go towards, or should be going towards, the punchline. And the punchline is your conclusion of your joke. I think it's very helpful if giving the joke that you find a way to reel all of your audience in, find some text or something to do that'll support your punchline and get them all ready, wondering what you're going to say. The punchline is the most important thing. Depending on where you are and what the joke is, gestures is very beneficial too. So when you're preparing or thinking about your joke, think about the same way you would do as in a speech after you've prepared the speech. And I think this morning giving my speech, that's one of the areas I don't spend on. When you're preparing speech and getting ready for it, think about the order of it and prepare all the details. So gestures is one area I think of a joke that is, it could really be enhanced if you think about certain gestures to add into your speech or your joke before your punchline. And I think that does it.
I will incorporate that in my next humor assignment.
Okay, so those are our table topics for this morning. Our theme was laughter is the best medicine. Thank you everyone for stepping into what actually ended up being some challenging questions. We had Bill, who shared with us his hope for humanity, that we are going to learn how to communicate through social media and accept one another. Alrick, I appreciated hearing some of the background where you were raised and also hopeful. So I appreciate that. Austin, thank you for letting us laugh at you with you. Austin shared a story about, and yes, we can hear you, just so you know. Graham shared his thoughts on why humanity mirrors each other in certain situations. And Buzz gave a very succinct 2-minute presentation on the spur of the moment on how to tell a joke. Thank you very much.
I concur. I would have John give it to